And we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulty, guys. Alex is going to be joining us very shortly. As soon as he comes in, going to request a video and he'll be right here. Thank you guys for coming back. Sorry about that. We are going to be live in a second. Got Alex coming in the room and we're going to begin. I'll just request him to join in right in. Appreciate you guys for coming back. Thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Going to be joining us just in a second, guys. Give me one moment. Just give me one moment, guys. He'll be joining us shortly. Thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it big time. You're here with your boy, Mystic Black, Darnell Giovanni. And Alex is going to be joining us very shortly. Give me one moment here. Just having some technical difficulties. It happens, guys. It happens. It happens. Just give me one moment. All right. Alex just joined in the room. Here we go. All right, guys. Alex is about to join in the room, and we will be live and ready and rocking to roll.
Okay, I can't.
There.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate you for coming on here with me, Mystic Black, Darnell Giovanni. Alex is an Ultimate Fighter veteran, a two-time Submission of the Night winner, two-time Fight of the Night winner, a 21-fight UFC veteran. Alex, you just had one of the most exciting fights of the night the other night in UFC 250. How are you feeling coming off that win?
I feel good. It's definitely good to put wins back together, as well as it also feels good to solidify my spot again and derail the hype train. So gives me a good look, I guess, you know.
Absolutely. And fighting an up-and-coming guy like Chase Hooper, you feel like the UFC likes to give those newcomers, and you're like the true test for them to see where they're going to go from there, or you want to take that out of your name and just like solidify yourself in the featherweight division?
Well, for sure, I definitely want to fight some people that will progress my career in the rankings instead of kind of gatekeeping for the newcomers or more unknown guys and whatnot. Definitely, but yeah, I definitely want to see like somebody probably at least in the top 15, you know, like just try and get out of those type of rankings and move into bigger and better things.
Absolutely. Alex, you're from Miami, 305, just like me, from North Miami. You're from down here. You recently moved back down to start training again. You were training at the MMA lab. What made you come back home and want to train back here again?
Well, I went to the lab initially just so that I can get another outlook on how to perform in my ground game, especially. And, you know, I gave the lab 6 years. My wife as well was going to school over there, so she finished and got her degree, and it took about the same time. So we just decided to come back home.
That's awesome. Welcome back home. We miss you down here. Another thing that people don't may not know, that you are, just like Jorge Masvidal, the Street Fighter, you're an original Street Fighter as well. So you started off fighting with Data 5000's promotion. How did that come together, and how did you get in connection with them?
Well, I started, I met Level Martinez and I guess his crew. They used to come to our gym every once in a while, and they would train for their street fights and whatnot. And so this was before I was pro, and then I was training there, and they liked the way that I fight, and they invited me to come out there and represent them in some street fights for some of the lower weight classes that they were having out there. Because it was pretty organized, believe it or not, you know.
Even though it didn't look like it, but it was organized.
Yeah. So like that's basically what they had me out there doing for them and whatnot. So I would go out there and represent them and take a few W's home.
That's awesome. And did you end up meeting Jorge Masvidal in that time period, or know about him? Or
no, yeah,
did that
we
give
used
you
to train together in the same gym back in the day. Like, no, we knew each other before that.
Oh wow! Before he was at American Top Team, right?
Yeah. He used to train at it used to be called Young Tigers Foundation.
Young Tigers Foundation, correct. That's where he used to train before.
Yeah, and that's where we used to train together. We did, like, yeah, he's the one, I always tell everybody this. I give it to him for making me being able to take a body shot because he used to drop me with
Ah,
body shots all the time.
oh wow, that is awesome. Jorge Masvidal with that crisp boxing. So you coming up, Alex? Who motivated you to begin your MMA career?
I just wanted to do it. I was out of high school and I got kicked out of high school, and I was already training, so and I love what I did, so I just decided to make it a full-time career and just try and get as many fights as possible.
That's awesome. And then you ended up on the Ultimate Fighter. You were on Team GSP. Uh, what did you get from that experience and training with a guy like GSP and from his team?
Well, that's a good question, man. Definitely, just being able to be on the team with George St. Pierre and just being on the Ultimate Fighter first was a surreal experience. But then seeing how not only a professional trains, but the world champion trains, and how seriously he takes it and stuff like that, it definitely opened my and the team that he has around him. It definitely opened up my eyes on how I should be training and taking responsibility for my career. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I might have wasted a little bit more time than than necessary.
Yeah.
So it's just I think it was a great eye opener for sure, and I'm glad that I was able to go through that experience.
So since you did fight in the Ultimate Fighter house, so you fought UFC 250. There was no audience. You think it helped you more than hurt you when you were in the cage?
Well, quite honestly, man, I don't. It doesn't bother me whether there's a crowd there or not. My coaches sometimes get mad at me because I don't listen to them, so I'm not. I'm definitely not listening to the crowd.
Speaking of your coaches, perfect. I've never personally been to one of your fights and seen it live. I've always watched your fights. You're one of my favorite fighters. Always exciting fights. But I heard since there was no audience, your coach is speaking Spanish to you as they're giving you different moves. Was that something they did because there was no audience and maybe Chase's team can hear you, or is that something they always do?
Well, my coach is just Hispanic, so he just speaks
Yeah.
Spanish more naturally and fluently. So when he's screaming the moves and what to do, it's usually coming out in Spanish anyway. So that's just him.
Okay.
That's just him being him.
That's just all right. So I noticed you haven't fought since July 19th. Did you have one of those experiences, kind of like Jorge Masvidal, where you felt that maybe you need to regroup, have that different mindset, and then come back differently?
Well, I took the opportunity to do that, but I just broke my hand. That's what
Ah,
happened.
okay.
So I broke my
Yeah,
hand, and then I said, okay, I think this is a time to take to myself, heal, regroup, and just solidify what I know I can do mentally because I did come off of that victory after I broke my hand,
yeah.
and I already knew what I wanted to do, but I just needed to I needed to heal basically. I feel that whole mental change or process came more after the Kron fight. I started
Okay.
to even more so like and it always feels like you reach a certain level, and then once you get there something happens, you find out, oh man, I can go higher, I can go higher, I can go higher, have more confidence, have more ability, have more discipline. And I think that's what kind of happened. And then even after this fight, it's crazy, even and usually and like losses are usually better for those lessons, but even this victory here, like it's just I don't know, like it opened up something inside of me. Like I just
Yeah.
want to, like I was like I won plenty of fights before, but it's just I don't know, like beating this guy is just I want to do it more. I want to do it more. I want to. I even asked him put me in 2 weeks later for the or a month later for the first Fight Island fights if they can, if they don't have
Yeah.
too many people in the way. But I'm trying to get there and do it as much as possible. I don't know. There's something about it now that I don't feel like I can stop.
Yeah. So Fight Island is coming up. They dropped the news today. They showed what it's looking like. It's in Abu Dhabi. Do you see yourself fighting on one of those cards as soon as possible? Because it's next month, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to. I would like to. I put it out there. I
Yeah.
told them I told my managers as well, if they could find an opening, someone drops out short notice, I'm going to be ready to jump into one of those. I need a fight on Fight Island. That'll be great.
Absolutely, and I would love to see you on the Fight Island as well. Did they give you so when they? I know these fights have been happening pretty frequently. Was this fight given to you when you fought Chase Hooper? Was it on shorter notice than usual, or did you know
No,
about this fight
I
months
knew
ahead?
about this fight a while back. It's just the whole Corona thing kind of like postponed it. So like,
Ah, okay,
and then they said, and then so they scratched the contract, but I just kept training just in case. And then they said, oh look, we want you to, we got you another fight. It's going to be here, but it's going to be the same opponent. So it just it kind of it went on and off and then on again. So
Yeah.
So it was a longer camp, if anything, for the same person because I never stopped training for him.
That's awesome. And did it give you any issues with like peaking? Because I know certain fighters peak at a certain time, or are you just always training at all times that it didn't
I'm
really
always
matter?
ready. I'm always ready to fight. I'm always ready to fight. I never feel like I don't know. I don't like to. I've never honestly felt like I'm peaking. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand when people say that. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
only time I peaked was like taking drugs and shit. But I
Yeah.
I don't understand when people mean
Different
like,
kind of
oh,
peak.
I'm peaking for the fight because like I don't get that. I've never felt that way, honestly. I feel like there's periods of time in my life, where I'm in a good state of mind, and then I feel
Yeah.
like I'm training better, I'm training harder, but like in general, I'm just doing everything better. I'm
Yeah.
just in a great state of mind, and I feel like if you want to call that peaking, I just call that like trying to I just want to be there as much as possible. So
Be
every
present.
day throughout my training processes and every day I go to the gym, I try to be there as much as possible. To me, that's just practicing, or at least trying to practice excellence, because it's habitual. It's not something you do, it's
Absolutely.
something you practice.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, you said you found this different mindset that you had, and just like not trying to be like other people who make you feel like, like the mediocre people, and just like you said that in the interview, a post fight. I know your adrenaline was high probably after, but you
Yeah.
just had this different mindset. And when you were talking, if you want to just dive deep into that a little bit.
Well, definitely, it's definitely more of a, how would you say, integral, or more of a discipline, in some ways a very focused, like mindset. In just oftentimes we hold ourselves back in anything we do sometimes to make other
Yeah.
people around us feel comfortable so that we
Yeah.
can fit in, or we won't look weird, or we won't look overbearing. But and I keep repeating this a lot. I keep repeating this in my head a lot, and just keeps making sense. Is like, if I got one life and I
Yeah.
love what I do and I'm passionate about my life and I want to live my
Yeah.
life to the fullest, as an add life to my years rather than years to my life, in that sense. Why am I trying to be mediocre? Why am I trying to hold back? Why am I accepting a place where people want you to just be the same as them, so that you don't outshine them in that sense? And I'm not trying to outshine anybody. It's just I I don't want to be dull. I want to
Yeah.
shine, and I'm not trying to
Yeah.
outshine it. I just want to see what I look like shining. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I want to see where I'm at. Before my time comes, I want to see how far I can get.
Absolutely. And so, are we gonna get that post fight Bruce Leeroy, Alex Caceres call out of somebody in the top 15, somebody in the top 10? Are we ever gonna see that, Alex Caceres?
I don't know enough about the sport, to be honest with you, to like call people
Yeah.
out and see
Yeah.
who's in the rankings and stuff. I know one guy said that it would be a nice fight for me to fight Edson Barbosa.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't know where he is in the ranking is. I know whatever is fair, definitely. I definitely want to move up in rankings, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like make any ridiculous call outs because I know where I stand. Even though I feel
Yeah.
like skill wise, I can contend with anybody,
Yeah.
but I know where I stand in the numbers wise. So anybody really that's gonna progress me towards the higher rankings, I will take. And I just want to fight. To be honest with you, if I get,
Absolutely.
I know if I get there, I'll get there. Surely, for sure.
And I know you will. I know you will. One last thing. So, Alex, I'm always watching your Instagram lives, and I always see you cooking some amazing vegan meals. And it's almost motivating me, because I'm thinking sometimes of going on a plant-based diet. What made you make this change? I know you did it a while ago, but what made you make this change? Do you feel a difference in energy, and does it affect your weight cut at all?
Well, definitely. So for this fight, let's just get it out of the way. I didn't cut weight.
Okay.
I
Wow.
dieted down. I did the only time I cut was like the last day, and I just didn't eat for a while. But
Yeah.
I ate every single day, and I trained really hard. Like my training sessions were doing mitts and doing like basically light sparring, running a few miles and whatnot throughout the whole fight week. And I didn't get
Yeah.
tired, and I was able to do
Wow.
that. That's how I knocked off the pounds. I didn't go to the sauna once, and I didn't
Wow.
wear any sweats or any heavy clothes. I
Wow.
came in that week around 100 and almost 160, and was able to cut all the way down to 145 and no problem whatsoever.
Easy.
And yeah, and so, but anyways, that was the first reason why I started to go plant-based.
Yeah.
My manager suggested I should move down to 135, so I started pulling out the stuff. I even cut my hair off.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that.
and I started going plant-based, and definitely it helped me get down to that weight. But after a while of doing it, I began to gain lean muscle mass
Wow.
since I was gaining weight, but since I wasn't eating cholesterol from animals and stuff like that, or fast foods and whatnot, I started to gain weight, but it was lean, so I could not cut down to 35 anymore. So
Wow.
I just said, whatever, I'll just jump up a weight, and whatever, if they're bigger than me, they're bigger than me. At least I'm going to be healthy. And lo and behold, I feel a lot stronger at 45. I feel like I hit harder. I feel like I can take damage better. I feel like I grapple a little bit better. I'm not just bouncing around, springy and stuff. So, and which is not bad. You know, I still love to do that kind of stuff, but it does feel nice to be able to stand solid, be able to hold my ground, and when I touch somebody, you know, they have to respect it. You know,
Absolutely.
so it definitely feels nice to do that. But it started off just trying to cut weight, and then I started noticing the health differences. My mind cleared up. I wanted
Yep.
to read more books. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to eat more with my mind. I had more energy. I recovered faster. I just didn't hurt as much after practice.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't bloated ever. You know, I would feel satisfied when I would eat, but I would never feel like fully bloated and just like couldn't able to walk or just go straight to sleep. And my skin cleared up. My hair got
Wow.
more like has its own curls now and stuff.
Softer and curlier.
Yeah, it's softer. I used to, and you notice if you see me back in the day, I used to have the
Yeah.
pick and it was all nappy.
Yeah, the pig in his, but yeah, it was
It
afro.
was a
Yeah, I
tight
remember.
bro, but like, you
Yeah.
know, just eating differently really changed my life in general. And one thing that was crazy is that when I was going to the eye doctor for eye tests, I've always had 20/20 vision,
Yeah.
but ever since I went vegan, it went from 20/21, and then it even went up to
Wow.
20/25 one time. When after one of the tests I took,
Wow.
it was like one of those machine tests, so like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Test,
like
test,
they were
test.
just guessing how well I could see. So I don't know. I feel like there's something to it for sure. I can get into a lot of like crazy science and spiritual science behind it, you
Yeah.
know, and other theories. And I wouldn't even consider them theories just
Yeah.
because it's just a science that we don't necessarily understand, but
Yeah.
it's there. But it's just eventually it did become about the ethics,
Yeah.
you know, and not only in the ethics of how we treat animals, but in turn how in our treatment of animals for food, how we offset a lot of nations that are in poverty. So
Yeah.
in my head, one thing that deters me from ever eating meat again is I think about the kid that has to grow the corn or the grain for the cows in his country that he can't even eat and he's starving so that we can
Yeah.
feed the cows to get fat when they eat grass so that we can have a burger. And then the drought that we cause so many third world countries to go through because we have to reroute their water systems to the factory farms in order to feed the cows like 10 times the water in order to create just burger meat, you know,
Yeah.
where a lot of people are saying, oh man, but I'm a hunter and gatherer, but we're not hunting. We're literally scavenging. We're flying around the meat aisle in the market like vultures and, you know, just picking up dead flesh. So, I mean, we're not really acting like hunter and gatherers. We're acting more like scavengers and opportunists. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I have complete respect for people that want to go out hunting and because you're only going to take from the forest what you need. And
Yeah.
then not only that, it takes days, if not weeks, to track an animal. So
Yeah.
even the best hunter could not eat meat every day, let alone 3 times a day like we do in this westernized diet.
Yeah.
So I just think that our respect for nature itself is off, and that's why we see a lot of the atrocities happening in this world today.
Wow. You're motivating me to become on a plant based diet just off of that. I appreciate that so much, Alex. Wow, that was amazing. There's one last question I forgot to ask you. We're in the midst of a time to where there's some issues with fighter pay and fighters believing they should get paid a certain amount. You know? Hello? Uh oh. Uh oh. Hello?
Yeah, I
Hello?
can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Am
Yeah.
I good? All right, perfect. Sorry about that. So we're in the midst of the time to where fighter pay is in a big discussion. It's always been a big discussion, but we have the top tier guys talking about how much they're getting paid. Do you think it's like the wrong time for this to be this conversation happening, or there is no wrong time?
I don't think there is a wrong time.
Yeah,
I do definitely think fighters could get paid more. I
yeah,
definitely think we should get paid more. I mean, we do
absolutely,
the hardest sport that there is. Like, I don't have a team
literally,
to fall back on and be like, oh, well, he didn't catch the ball. You know, we got to go in there by ourselves and risk our health and lives, you know, for entertainment. And we love what we do, and don't get us wrong. especially me. I'm a martial artist. I love what I do, but at the same time, I know that what we do is very taxing on the physical body itself, and it takes a lot of mental. It puts a lot of mental strain as well as physical and emotional strain to get out there, be by yourself, fight this other guy that's training just for to take your head off. You
Yeah.
know, I definitely feel like we should be getting like basketball player money, football player money. That would be fucking great.
Yeah.
But also, I got to look at the facts that, like the UFC is growing and is growing faster than any sport. But then
Yeah.
again, it's still a young sport. I mean, we got Reebok as our sponsor. How
Yeah.
many of those big sponsors does like NFL have? Nike, Powerade, Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see why they're able to pay those athletes a lot more money. They've been around for more generations, and the sponsors they're getting is bringing a lot more revenue. Can the UFC share more concession revenues with the fighters? Yeah, for sure. I think we can all do a little bit more to help each other out, but then understand, like George Masvidal said, like the UFC is a business first,
Yeah.
before they're your friend. I mean, they're hooking us up because shit, I wouldn't have a job if MMA or if the UFC wasn't around,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Very true.
be able to do what I love to do and get paid for it. But I feel like it is getting better. Can it get better faster? I would appreciate it, but at the moment, I can't throw a football and I can't dribble a basketball for fucking life of me. So
Yeah.
I'm stuck beating people up in the cage and getting my ass kicked as well for money.
Absolutely. Alex, I appreciate your time today. I hope that you get higher in those rankings. You get that fight with Edson Barbosa. And you get on Fight Island. If there's anything you want to tell the people that are watching now, floor is yours.
Oh, true. I'm just free to. I really have nothing to say. I mean, if anybody has lots of questions, but other than that, I just definitely want to be back in there and then be back in there again and give you guys
Yeah,
an entertaining show.
absolutely. And I hope to see you soon, Alex. I thank you so much, and I appreciate your time.
All right, man. Thanks. Peace.
Thank you, Alex. Hey, the man, the myth, the legendary Alex Caceres. That was awesome. That was amazing. Such amazing things he said in there and facts that he gave. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. There's more to come. I got more interviews on the way. Gonna try to knock out at least once a week, maybe twice a week, whatever you want. We will be on Thursday. Me and Nick will be on Thursday to talk about everything that happened this past weekend. I appreciate you guys for joining me, and Mystic Black.